Hey everyone, my name is Tim Stoddard. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about creating content online. I'm going to talk about the creator economy, and I'm going to talk about how that fits into the landscape of entrepreneurship. First, I want to make the argument that there's a difference between a creator and an entrepreneur. Creators are people who want to make content, they want to create things, and they want the things that they create to be the business within itself. So an example of this is somebody who maybe wants to be a YouTuber, and you make YouTube videos and you get views on your videos and then you run ads on those videos. And so the video itself is the thing that is generating revenue. You're monetizing through the content. Another example could be a newsletter. Somebody writes a daily newsletter and they sell sponsorships on that newsletter. And the more people open the newsletter, the more people see the sponsor. And so then the more valuable those sponsorships are, the more money those sponsorships are worth. That's another example. The content you are creating is within itself the business. So that's a creator. What an entrepreneur is, especially digitally, this isn't the only way to be an entrepreneur. I'm just making a distinction between the two. What I like to do as an entrepreneur is create content and then use that content as a mechanism to promote an actual product or an actual service. So an example of this could be my marketing agency. I send out a newsletter every Tuesday, and through that newsletter, I write articles and I establish case studies and I show my authority within the business. And then the newsletter promotes the service. But the newsletter isn't actually monetizing. The newsletter is promoting what it is that is monetizing. It's promoting the service. And so people read the newsletter and they think, oh, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. At least I hope that's what they think, right? And then they book an appointment with me and I close a deal. Another example could be what I do here with timstodds.com. So this is an interesting distinction. I think this is really cool, and this is why I want to use this example. The newsletter where I'm promoting this video that you're watching right now is part of the creator economy, right? I sell sponsorships on the newsletter, and so the more people that see the newsletter, the more valuable the ads are worth and the more money I make. However, you may notice if you signed up for my newsletter, you may notice that when you sign up for it, the first set of emails you get is promotion to my product. So I generate email subscriptions through the content that I create on Twitter, on Instagram, and the blog posts that I write. So even that, the content is promoting the email sign up. And then the emails I send out are promoting my product. So the whole entire thing doesn't have any ads in it, right? Like there's the content within itself is only as valuable as the attention that they generate to the product. But then the product is what actually monetizes. This is absolutely my preference. It's much better to create revenue this way for two reasons. One, because when the content itself is the avenue to make money, then what it depends on is the amount of views, is the amount of attention on it. And so what do you do when you want to go viral? You write and you create content that has virality. Usually this lowers the quality of the content. Usually this increases like the hostility or the buzzworthiness of the content. And so over time, your content just ends up being very, very gimmicky. You turn into a commodity, right? You're like BuzzFeed, you're like the Huffington Post. You're creating content that is designed to create a reaction out of somebody, because that reaction then spreads, and we can get into the whole human nature of the negativity and how fast negativity spreads. But over time, if you're monetizing against your content specifically, it's very, very common for creators to just get more and more and more commoditized and kind of go down that rabbit hole of being incentivized by views instead of being incentivized through content. Whereas if you follow my route, you can build a business in a particular industry, whether that's a service or a product, and then the content you create speaks to those people directly. So it's not dependent on the amount of views you get. It's not dependent on building a mass audience. It's dependent on becoming an authority within a particular space. And so once you make that distinction, that means that the content that you're creating is based on quality. It's based on value. that you give, because the more value that's in your content, that means that there's more perceived value in your product or your service. So the better your content, the higher your conversion rates are going to be, and the more money that you're going to make by selling your product or selling your service. That's the difference. That's the difference between a creator and an entrepreneur. So I'm an entrepreneur. Granted, I've created a newsletter. I'm experimenting with selling ads. Like I said, I have no problem with that. I want you to be successful in whatever way that you want to be successful. But I do think over the long run, it is much, much better. You'll see much more long-term success if you use your content as a way to market your business, as opposed to using the content as being the business itself. I hope you love this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for all the kind words I've received on my first round of videos so far. I really do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next week.